In 2012, there was an article that was discussing how the children of engineers and people involved in computer programming were more likely to develop autism than other children. I grew up in a house where there was computer activity. My father was a computer software programmer for the United States military, at least at first. He did other things as well. My mother worked in the military as well. I don't think these children had autism just as some sort of coincidence. They were growing up around technology. Their hormone levels, their endocrine systems, while they were developing, were being impacted by the proliferation and preponderance of electronic usage in the home, and also by the fact that their parents were involved in industries and sectors that would require a lot of attention and time and life force that could otherwise have been directed at the child toward mechanical devices. And so this naturally had an impact on the child, etherically and literally. These processes of integrating us with technology at younger and younger ages are now marketed as being desirable and a very, very profitable investment, including for municipal financing and for business innovation. But what it is a form of cybernetic enhancement that is seeking to acquire access to our bodies for integration at younger and younger ages. Discussing the rollout of 5G without talking about 3G, without talking about 4G, is completely unconscionable. I live in a city with 5G. I spend a majority of my time trying to protect my genitals from assault because of the way that they have programmed the broadband with their nice little radio towers down the street. When I was on the street, the sonic and surveillance equipment, I could real time monitor transactions that were going at the moment connected to the addresses I was sleeping near. I'm not the only one. This is what they want transgender to mean. You work in a workplace. You have the capability, because you've honed your cybernetic enhancements, to be able to decompress data packets that are going through the ether without needing a digital interface with specific encryption or passwords. You might get that information. You might talk about it on the job. Somebody comes in, you're just supposed to be a clerk, but you're talking to them about high-level executive information that they intend to talk about in a meeting. That makes that executive look very bad. You were supposed to provide an aesthetic. You were supposed to look a certain way. You were supposed to be the portal, the digital picture that they're going to put on their actual financial transactional process. If you're supposed to look like a 20-year-old blonde woman with blue eyes and light skin, that's very different than cutting your hair short and wearing a compression bra and looking better in that suit than he does. But that's not even what it's about. That's the PSYOP. The PSYOP is that it's a civil right. It's not about a civil right. They have been forced cybernetic enhancing us for years. And not only have they done that, but they've embedded strategic flaws that they call vulnerabilities in the automation process. They've been trying to program us unconsciously to participate. And if we feel awkward in our body because they're trying to enhance our body to perform certain financial and sometimes national security functions, then we're supposed to indulge the alienation and project it onto a superficial appearance and the fact that we are not represented as we would like to be in the appearances, hence transgender rights, LGBTQ rights. It's not about a political platform. It is about market representation. And it has been for the last 30 years. The Supreme Court released several opinions yesterday, ostensibly, about LGBTQ rights in the workplace around access to job functions. Please understand, your equal opportunity access to job functions. On the same day that they were settling a 10-year and 30-year bond. Let me ask you, what happens when somebody says they want their sex robot that looks like a 10-year-old girl to be able to actually manifest into a currency that they can use for whatever else they want to use it for? And you're the one they want to use to do it. What happens if it becomes even easier if they engaged you in processes of forced cybernetic enhancement when you were 10 years old and you just refused to play their daddy girl sex games anymore under the auspices or appearances of it being about some scene in the BDSM realm, and they won't let you in a courtroom? What do you do then? It's not about civil rights. And I'm not your fucking friend. I was never a fucking Amici, assholes, and you should never have let that be a part of a public school financing model.